Dua stared through the massive observation window of the Galactic Science Council's research station, watching the blue marble of Earth rotate slowly below. His long fingers tapped rapidly on the datapad as he reviewed his proposal one final time. After 15 years of studying humans, he was sure he had found their weak point. "Chief Researcher, the Council is ready for your presentation," his assistant Jisoo said from the doorway. Her usual calm voice carried a hint of worry. "Excellent." Dua straightened his formal robes and gathered his materials. He had waited too long for this moment to show any doubt. The council chamber was a perfect circle, with 12 seated members looking down at him from their elevated positions. Their species varied. Some had scales, others had feathers, and a few were purely energy beings contained in special suits. But they all shared one thing: absolute confidence in their superiority over developing species like humans. "Honored Council," Dua began, his voice clear and strong. "For too long, we have struggled to properly integrate humans into our galactic community. They are stubborn, unpredictable, and refuse to accept their place in the natural order." Holograms appeared around him, showing various human interactions. "But I have discovered something fascinating. Humans have an ingrained social system they call politeness. They become extremely uncomfortable when others don't follow these rules." Jisoo watched from the back of the room, noticing how the council members leaned forward with interest. She had worked with Dua long enough to know when he was getting carried away with an idea. "My proposal is simple," Dua continued. "We create a psychic influence field that makes humans feel a strong need to be polite and submissive. Nothing harmful, just a gentle push toward better behavior. Within months, they will become much easier to manage." One of the energy beings floated forward. "And you are certain this will not harm them?" "Absolutely not." Dua smiled. "It's no different from their own social pressure, just more effective. We've tested it on small groups with excellent results." Jisoo wanted to point out that those tests had lasted only a few hours, not months. But assistants didn't speak in council meetings unless asked directly. "The potential benefits are enormous," Dua said. "Imagine humans finally listening to our advice about their technological development. No more dangerous experiments. No more refusing to join our trading networks. They would finally understand their proper place in the galaxy." The council members discussed among themselves, their various languages mixing in the air before the translation field converted them to standard galactic common. "There are risks," an elder with iridescent scales said. "Humans have surprised us before." "Which is exactly why we need this project," Dua argued. "Every time we try to help them, they resist. They need guidance, but are too proud to accept it. This way, everyone wins." Jisoo noticed something interesting. The council members who had never actually met humans seemed the most supportive. Those with direct experience looked worried. After 2 hours of questions and discussion, the council called for a vote. Dua held his breath as the lights changed color above each member's head. Green, 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 yellow, green. One by one, they approved his project. Only 3 yellow lights of caution, no red lights of rejection. "Congratulations, Chief Researcher," the council head announced. "You have 1 Earth year to demonstrate results. Resources will be allocated immediately." Dua bowed deeply, his face glowing with pride. As they left the chamber, Jisoo finally spoke up. "Sir, should we perhaps run more detailed tests first? Humans can be unpredictable when they feel manipulated." Jisoo, Dua said kindly, patting her shoulder. "You worry too much. Humans are simple creatures at heart. They just need a little help to become better citizens of the galaxy. What's the worst that could happen?" As they walked back to their lab, Jisoo couldn't shake the feeling that they were all missing something important. She had read enough human stories to know that forcing them to do anything, even something as simple as saying "please," often ended badly. But the project was approved. The machinery would arrive tomorrow. And somewhere below, on that blue planet, Millions of humans were going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they were about to become part of the biggest social experiment in galactic history. Jisoo just hoped they wouldn't all come to regret it. Han Sol adjusted his tie for the third time as the shuttle approached the massive research station. After 5 years as Earth's lead diplomat to the Galactic Council, he thought he would be used to these meetings by now. But something felt different today. "Welcome to Science Station Alpha 7. The A's voice was oddly sweet. "Please remember to be polite and respectful at all times." Han Sol frowned. That was new. Usually, the greeting was just a boring security reminder. He made a mental note to mention it in his daily report. The docking bay was busier than usual. Alien scientists hurried back and forth, carrying strange equipment. Many of them stopped to stare at him, which was weird. Humans weren't that unusual anymore. Ambassador Han Sol. Duha walked forward with his arms spread wide. "Please, please come in. We're so very pleased to have you here today." Han Sol blinked. Duha had always been polite, but this was excessive. "Thank you, Chief Researcher. I'm here for our monthly progress review." Yes, of course. "Please, would you be so kind as to follow me? If you don't mind, that is." As they walked through the station's corridors, Han Sol's diplomat training kicked in. Something was definitely wrong. Every alien they passed was being incredibly polite. Not just normal polite. They were acting like characters from an old-fashioned costume drama. In the meeting room, Jisoo was setting up display screens. She looked at Han Sol and then quickly looked away, her hands shaking slightly. "Would you like some refreshments?" Duha asked. "Please don't hesitate to ask for anything at all." "I'm fine," Han Sol said firmly. Years of diplomatic work had taught him to trust his instincts. "Let's start the meeting." Duha's smile twitched. "Oh, but surely you would prefer some tea first." "Please." "No." Han Sol sat down and opened his files. "The Earth Council wants updates on 3 main projects. First." "Please," Duha interrupted. "Wouldn't you be more comfortable with a drink?" Han Sol felt a strange pressure in his head, like someone was trying to push him to say yes. His training kicked in again. This was definitely not normal. "Chief Researcher," he said carefully, "are you trying to influence my behavior?" "Oh, no, not at all," Duha said quickly. Too quickly. "We would never do such a thing." "Please don't think that." The pressure in Han Sol's head grew stronger. It felt like someone was whispering, "Be polite, be nice, just say please." Jisoo dropped a datapad. The crash made everyone jump. "I'm so sorry," she said, but her eyes met Han Sol's for a moment. There was definitely a warning there. Han Sol stood up slowly. "I think we should reschedule this meeting, and I think I should call Captain Sunmai about this." "Please don't do that." Duha's voice was desperate now. "Please, just sit down. Please have some tea. Please." "Stop saying please." Han Sol snapped. The pressure in his head was getting annoying. "What have you done to this station?" "It's just a small experiment," Duha said quickly. "Nothing harmful. Just a tiny influence field to make humans more cooperative." Han Sol felt his anger rise, pushing back against the artificial politeness trying to fill his mind. "You're experimenting on humans without permission. Do you know how many laws that breaks?" "Please calm down," Duha said, but he was backing away. "Please understand." "I understand perfectly." Han Sol pulled out his emergency communicator. "Captain Sunmai. This is Ambassador Han Sol. We have a situation at Science Station Alpha 7. Unauthorized psychological experimentation on human visitors. Yes, I'll hold position." Jisoo moved to stand beside him. "I tried to warn them," she said quietly. "Humans don't react well to being manipulated." Han Sol nodded, watching Duha panic as more alarms started going off around the station. "No, we really don't. And they're about to learn why that's a very, very bad idea." Through the window, he could already see the first Earth Defense Force ships appearing from hyperspace. This was going to be an interesting diplomatic incident, if he could just resist the growing urge to apologize for causing trouble. Please don't be angry. Du had tried one more time. Han Sol smiled grimly. Too late for that. And stop saying please. Tae Young stared at his computer screen in disbelief. As the station's human data analyst, he had access to all the sensor readings, and what he was seeing made no sense at all. That's impossible, he muttered, running the numbers again. The politeness field should be making humans more submissive. Instead, their brain activity showed they were getting angrier by the hour. Down in the station's main cafeteria, the signs were clear. Human workers sat in tight groups, whispering to each other. Every time an alien researcher asked them to do something with an artificial please, their faces got darker. Tae Young grabbed his data pad and ran to the research lab. He had to warn someone before this got worse. Chief researcher. He burst into the lab. We have a problem. Du-ha looked up from his workstation, where multiple screens showed the politeness field's power levels. Please calm down, Tae Young. Please explain the situation quietly. Tae Young felt the familiar pressure in his head, trying to make him be polite. He pushed through it. The humans aren't becoming submissive. They're resisting. And the resistance is getting stronger. Jisoo rushed over to look at his data. Her eyes widened. He's right. Look at these readings. Their brains are actually fighting back against the field. Impossible, Du-ha said, but he looked worried. The field is designed perfectly. Please show me those numbers. Tae Young handed over his pad. See these patterns. Humans are naturally stubborn. The more you try to force them to be polite, the more they want to be rude. It's like pushing against a spring. The harder you push, the harder it pushes back. On the screens around them, red warning lights started flashing. The politeness field's power was increasing automatically, trying to overcome the human resistance. This is bad, Jisoo said. We need to shut it down. No, Du-ha slammed his hand on the desk. Please understand, we just need more power. The humans will break eventually. They have to. Alarms started ringing throughout the station. Tae Young ran to check the main display. Oh no, the human workers. They're organizing. In the cafeteria, the biggest screen showed a live feed. Human staff members were standing together, arms crossed. Their leader, a maintenance worker named Eugene, stepped forward. We demand you turn off this mind control field, she said firmly. No more fake politeness. No more forced pleases. Please return to work, the station's AI announced sweetly. Please remember your duties. No, Eugene said. Behind her, 50 humans said the same word. No. The politeness field surged again, trying to force them to comply. The humans grabbed their heads in pain, but they didn't give in. Chief researcher, Jisoo pleaded, look at these readings. Their brains are generating some kind of feedback loop. The more we push, the stronger they resist. Du-ha's hands flew over his controls. Please calm down, everyone. Please be reasonable. Please. Stop saying please. The shout came from the cafeteria. Now there were 100 humans, all pushing back against the field. Tae Young watched in amazement as his sensors showed something unprecedented. The humans weren't just resisting anymore. Their combined stubbornness was actually changing the field itself. The energy patterns are mutating, he reported. It's like the field is absorbing their irritation and amplifying it. Impossible, Du-ha shouted. Please, everyone remain calm. Please. The station's lights flickered. In the cafeteria, the humans stood their ground, a wall of determined faces refusing to be controlled. Ambassador Han Sol was right, Jisoo said quietly. We should never have tried this. Through the window, they could see more Earth Defense Force ships arriving. Captain Sun Mi's voice came over the emergency channel. This is your final warning. Shut down the field, or we will take action. But it was too late. The field was changing, growing, feeding on human stubbornness. And in the cafeteria, hundreds of humans stood together, proving why forcing them to be polite was a very, very bad idea. Tae-young looked at his readings one last time and whispered, "What have we done?" Captain Sun Mi's boots made sharp sounds against the metal floor as she marched through the station's docking bay. 6 armed guards followed her, their faces stern. She had dealt with alien scientists before, but this situation was different. Nobody messed with human minds. "Please, Captain, there's no need for weapons," Duha said, wringing his hands. "Please understand." "Stop saying please." Sun Mi's voice cut through the air like a knife. "Where is Ambassador Hansol?" "I'm here." Hansol walked up, looking tired but determined. "The situation is getting worse. The humans on the station are organizing protests. They're calling it a politeness strike." Sun Mi felt the pressure in her head as soon as she stepped into the main corridor. It was like a voice whispering, "Be nice, be polite, say please." She pushed it away with practiced ease. "Report," she ordered. 300 human workers have stopped all station duties," Hansol explained. "They're gathering in the main halls. The politeness field is getting stronger, but so is their resistance. And something strange is happening to the field itself." They reached the main science lab, where Tae-young and Jisoo were working frantically at their stations. Screens covered the walls, showing waves of energy flowing through the station. "Captain," Tae-young jumped up. "The field. It's changing. The human resistance is creating some kind of feedback loop. The more they push back, the stronger it gets, but not in the way it's supposed to." "Shut it down," Sun Mi ordered. "We can't." Duha shouted. "Please, just give it more time. Please." Sun Mi grabbed him by his robes. "Listen carefully. You will turn off this field, or I will evacuate every human from this station and let Earth Defense Command deal with you. Choose." The pressure in her head grew stronger. Duha's eyes were desperate. "The field is automatic now. It's trying to overcome human resistance. Please, we didn't know this would happen." Alarms started blaring again. On the screens, red warnings flashed everywhere. Jisoo ran to check the readings. "The humans," she gasped. They're having a group meeting. All of them, together in one place." Hansol grabbed a microphone. "Stop. You'll create too much resistance in one spot." But in the main gathering hall, hundreds of humans stood together. Yoo-jin, the protest leader, stepped forward again. "We have a list of demands," she announced. "First, turn off this mind control field. Second, no more experiments on humans without permission. Third, stop saying please." The field pulsed, trying to force them to be polite. The humans grabbed their heads in pain. But then something amazing happened. They started laughing. "Please return to work," the station AI begged. "No," said one human. "No," said another. Soon, 300 humans were saying it together. "No, no, no." The energy readings went crazy. The field was growing, changing, twisting in ways it wasn't designed for. "Captain," Tae-young called out, "you need to see this. The field, it's not just affecting humans anymore. Look at the alien staff." Sun Mi turned to see alien scientists and workers starting to twitch. They were fighting against something too. "Please," an alien worker suddenly burst out. "Please, I need to ask humans for permission. Please." "What's happening?" Sun Mi demanded. "The field," Jisoo explained, horror in her voice. "It's reversing. Instead of making humans say please, it's making aliens say it. The human resistance, it's changing the basic programming." Duha fell to his knees. "Please help us. Please make it stop. Please." "Everyone out," Sun Mi ordered. "Evacuate all humans from the science deck. Now." But as they ran for the exits, the lights started flickering. The station's walls vibrated. In the gathering hall, 300 stubborn humans had finally pushed back hard enough to break something important. The last thing Sun Ma saw before the emergency doors slammed shut was Dua, still kneeling, saying please over and over as the field he created spun completely out of control. The breaking point had arrived. The science station's emergency lights cast red shadows everywhere as Ji-Soo ran through the corridors. Her hands shook as she checked her datapad. The energy readings were off the charts. Warning, the station AI announced. Power surge detected in Politness field generators. Please evacuate. Please, please, please. The AI's voice got stuck repeating the word, like a broken record. In the main gathering hall, the 300 human protesters stood their ground. The air around them seemed to shimmer with invisible energy. The feedback loop is out of control, Tae-young shouted into his communicator. Captain Sun Ma, we have maybe 10 minutes before something breaks. Sun Ma's voice crackled back. Can we shut down the power? No good, Ji-Soo reported, checking another screen. The field is feeding on itself now. It's using the human resistance as a power source. Doo-ha stumbled past her, still mumbling please with every breath. Most of the alien staff were the same now, trapped in an endless loop of forced politeness. The field had completely reversed on them. Hansol grabbed Ji-Soo's arm. We need to get to the control room. Maybe we can redirect the energy. They ran together through the chaos. Everywhere, aliens were pressed against walls, unable to stop saying please to any human they saw. The human workers were fighting back harder than ever, their combined stubbornness creating waves of energy that the sensors could actually detect. Look at these readings. Ji-Soo pointed to her screen. The field is trying to make humans submit, but their resistance is turning it back on itself. It's like a rubber band stretching too far. In the control room, Tae-young was working frantically at the main console. The energy has to go somewhere, he muttered. Either we find a way to release it, or... A deep rumble shook the whole station. Warning lights flashed on every screen. Critical mass approaching, the AI announced. Please take cover. Please, please, please. Captain Sun Ma's voice came over the speakers. All humans, brace for impact. Something's about to break. In the gathering hall, Yoo-jin raised her voice over the chaos. Everyone hold together. Keep resisting. The rumble grew louder. Ji-Soo watched in horror as her readings went completely red. The energy levels were impossible now. The field was caught between the unstoppable force of human stubbornness and its own programming. It's going to blow. Tae-young shouted. Everyone down. The explosion wasn't like anything they had seen before. There was no fire, no smoke. Instead, a wave of pure energy burst out from the gathering hall, spreading through the station at light speed. Ji-Soo felt it pass through her like a gust of wind. For a moment, everything went quiet. Then Doo-ha stood up, looked at the nearest human, and said, "Please tell me what to do." Another alien scientist bowed to a human cleaner. "Please give me instructions." All around the station, aliens were suddenly desperate to get permission from humans for everything. The field had completely reversed. "Oh no," Ji-Soo whispered, checking her readings. "The energy wave. It's spreading through the station's communication network. It's reaching other stations, other planets." Hansol grabbed a microphone. "This is Ambassador Hansol to Earth Defense Command. We have a situation. The Politness field has reversed and is spreading. I repeat, it's spreading across the galaxy." Through the station's windows, they could see ships arriving from all directions. But instead of attacking, each ship sent the same message. "Please allow us to dock. Please give us permission. Please." Tae-young looked at his screens in amazement. The field, it's changed the basic rules. Now aliens can't do anything without human approval. They have to say please, and they have to mean it. Ji-Soo sank into a chair, watching as years of research turned into the biggest disaster in galactic history. "We should have listened," she said quietly. "We should have known better than to try to force humans to do anything." In the gathering hall, 300 humans finally relaxed their resistance. They had won, but none of them realized yet just how complete their victory was, or how far across the galaxy the changes would spread. The Politinous War had begun. Minna couldn't believe what she was seeing. As the station's communications officer, she was the first to notice how far the Politinous wave had spread. Her screen was filling up with messages from across the galaxy, all with the same pattern. Please respond to this message. Please accept our transmission. Please grant us permission to. Every alien species was affected. They couldn't seem to do anything without asking humans first and saying please. This is impossible, she said, checking another screen. The wave is traveling through the galactic communication network at faster than light speed. It's affecting everyone connected to the network. Captain Sunma stood behind her, watching the messages pour in. How many systems are affected? Over 1,000 already, Minna reported. And it's growing. Look at this. The Centauri trading hub has completely shut down because none of the alien merchants can sell anything without human approval. Through the station's windows, they could see the effects in action. Alien ships drifted in space, their crews unable to move without permission from the nearest human. Please allow us to turn left, one ship's captain begged over the radio. Please let us use our engines, another pleaded. Hansol rushed into the communication center, his face pale. It's worse than we thought. The Galactic Council, they can't make any decisions. The members keep asking humans for permission to vote. Tai Young and Jisoo arrived next, carrying new data readings. The effect is changing how their brains work, Jisoo explained. It's like they physically can't act without human approval now. And that's not all, Tai Young added. Look at these brain scans. The aliens aren't just saying please, they have to mean it. The field forces them to be genuinely respectful to humans. Minna's screen suddenly lit up with emergency signals. We're getting reports from major alien cities. Their governments are freezing up. No one can give orders without finding a human to approve them first. In the station's main hall, Duha sat in a corner, still mumbling please over and over. Other alien scientists watched the chaos with helpless expressions, unable to even study the problem without human permission. Captain, Minna called out, you need to see this. The galactic stock market is crashing. Alien businesses can't function. They need humans to approve every transaction. Sun Mai rubbed her temples. How long until we can reverse this? That's the problem. Jisoo said. The original field is gone. This is something new. The human resistance didn't just reverse the effect. It created a whole new kind of energy pattern, one that spreads through communication networks and rewrites neural pathways. On the main screen, they watched a newsfeed from an alien capital city. The mighty rulers of the galaxy's oldest civilization were stuck in their Grand Council chamber, unable to even adjourn the meeting without human approval. Please, their High Chancellor begged to the human ambassador. Please tell us what to do. Minna checked another alert. The wave just reached the Outer Rim colonies. 50 more systems affected. The pattern is the same everywhere. Complete shutdown of alien authority without human oversight. It's like the galaxy's biggest Uno reverse card, Tai Young said, almost laughing. They tried to make us more submissive, and instead, we accidentally made them unable to function without our permission, Hansol finished. This is either the biggest disaster or the biggest opportunity in human history. More messages kept flooding Minna's screens. Alien leaders begging for instructions. Spaceship captains asking permission to move. Scientists pleading for humans to oversee their work. What do we do? Jisoo asked quietly. Captain Sun Mei straightened her uniform. First, we contact Earth. They need to know what's happening. Then we figure out how to handle suddenly being the most important species in the galaxy. Minna looked at her screens again, watching the wave of forced politeness spread further into space. Somewhere in the distance, The most powerful civilizations in history were learning a hard lesson about respecting humans. And it all started because they tried to make humans say, please. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy sat in their seats, unable to start the emergency meeting. They kept looking at Jin, Earth's temporary representative, waiting for permission to speak. Please, the council head finally said, would you allow us to begin? Jin tried not to smile. Just last week, these same aliens had looked down on humans as primitive creatures. Now they couldn't even open a door without human approval. You may begin the meeting, she said clearly. The council chamber burst into activity. But every few seconds, someone had to stop and ask permission for something. Please, may I show the damage reports? Please, could I suggest a solution? Please, would you let me disagree? A huge screen showed the chaos spreading across the galaxy. Spaceports were jammed with ships that couldn't move without human pilots. Factories stood silent, waiting for human managers. Research stations were frozen, their alien scientists unable to work without human supervision. This is a Class-1 civilization crisis, the council head announced. Please, Representative Jin, allow me to explain how serious this is. Go ahead, Jin said, remembering how these same aliens had dismissed human warnings about the politeness experiment. Our entire civilization is grinding to a halt, the council head explained. We physically cannot act without human approval. The effect is spreading through every communication network, every transport system, every computer link. Please, you must help us fix this. Duha was brought in next, looking very small and scared. 2 human guards walked with him. Please, he begged, please let me explain what went wrong. Jin nodded. You may speak. The human resistance to the politeness field, it was stronger than anything we'd ever seen. When the field tried to force humans to be submissive, their stubbornness created a feedback loop. The energy had to go somewhere. It reversed the field's basic programming. The council members shifted uncomfortably. Many of them had approved Duha's experiment. And now, Duha continued, the effect is permanent. It's written itself into our neural patterns. We literally cannot act without human permission. Please, please help us. Jin stood up. This was the moment humans had waited for. Earth has some demands, she announced. The aliens leaned forward eagerly. Please tell us. First, all experiments on humans stop immediately. Second, Earth gets full voting rights in the council. Third, human psychology is classified as a Class-1 survival risk, something too dangerous to mess with. Please, the council head said quickly, allow me to agree to all of these terms. But Jin wasn't finished. Fourth, Earth gets access to all galactic technology databases. Fifth, human approval is required for any major galactic decisions. Sixth, you all admit that humans aren't as primitive as you thought we were. The council chamber erupted in a chorus of, please let us agree. And please accept our apology. On screens around the room, reports kept coming in. The galaxy's economy was frozen. Travel between stars had stopped. Research projects were paused. Everything needed human approval to restart. One more thing, Jin added. Chief Researcher Duha will be put on trial for unauthorized experimentation on sentient beings. Please, Duha whispered, please show mercy. The trial will be fair, Jin assured him, which is more than you showed us when you tried to control our minds. The council head raised a shaking hand. Please, may I make this official? The Galactic Council hereby accepts all Earth's demands. And, she paused, looking pained, we admit that we were wrong about humans. Please forgive our arrogance. Jin looked around the great chamber. The mightiest beings in the galaxy were waiting for her word. A small part of her enjoyed it, but mostly she felt tired. This wasn't how humans wanted to gain respect. Motion accepted, she said. Now let's figure out how to run a galaxy where nothing works without someone saying please, and meaning it. The council members sagged with relief, but everyone knew things would never be the same. The age of human authority had begun, all because some aliens couldn't leave well enough alone. Han Sol sat in the emergency meeting room with Captain Sun Mai and Jisoo, surrounded by screens showing the galaxy-wide crisis. 3 weeks had passed since the Politinous explosion, and things were only getting worse. The economy is barely functioning, Han Sol reported, pointing to a chart. Even with humans working overtime to give permissions, we can't keep up. There are too many aliens and too few of us. Please, an alien voice called from a screen. We need approval to start our farming machines. Please, came another call. Our ships need permission to deliver food. Please, a third voice begged. Our hospitals need. Sun Li turned down the volume. We have to fix this. The galaxy is too big to run on please and thank you. Jisoo looked up from her workstation. She had been studying the effect nonstop since it began. I think I found something interesting, she said. The field doesn't just force aliens to be polite. It makes them seek genuine respect from humans. How does that help us? Han Sol asked. Because real respect can't be forced, Jisoo explained. The field is trying to do something impossible. It's creating an endless loop of artificial politeness because it can't create real understanding. Sun Li leaned forward. Are you saying we can break the effect by making the aliens genuinely respect humans? Maybe. Jisoo brought up some brain scans. Look at this. When aliens just say please because they have to, the effect stays strong. But when they actually mean it, when they truly understand and respect humans, the compulsion gets weaker. Han Sol jumped up. That's it. We don't need to break the field. We need to fulfill its purpose. If we can make aliens truly respect humans, the field will have nothing left to enforce. Jisoo finished. It's like teaching someone to be polite instead of forcing them. They quickly called a meeting with the Galactic Council. As always, Yu Jin had to give permission for everyone to speak. We may have a solution, Han Sol announced. But it requires all of you to change how you think about humans. Not because you're forced to, but because you choose to. The council members looked confused. Please explain, the council head said. The field makes you seek human approval because you didn't respect us before, Sun Mai said. You saw us as primitive, simple, weak. But look what happened. Human stubbornness broke your most advanced technology. Jisoo showed them the brain scans. When you say please now, you don't mean it. You're just following the field's commands. But if you learn to truly understand and respect humans, the field's purpose will be fulfilled, Han Sol continued. It won't need to force you anymore, because you'll treat humans as equals naturally. The council members were quiet for a long time. Finally, the council head spoke, but this time without saying please first. You're right, she said slowly. We were arrogant. We thought we knew better than humans about everything. But your resistance to control, your determination to be free, these are strengths, not weaknesses. Other council members nodded. One by one, they began to speak, and each time the compulsion to say please seemed a little weaker. Humans value freedom above comfort. They fight harder when you try to control them. They turned our own field against us through sheer stubbornness. Maybe we could learn from them. Jisoo's readings showed the field's power fluctuating. It's working. Genuine respect is breaking the compulsion. Han Sol stepped forward. We propose a new relationship between humans and aliens, not based on force or artificial politeness, but on real understanding, equal partners in running the galaxy. And if you ever try to control humans again, Sun Mai added with a smile, remember what happened this time. The council members looked at each other. Then, without being forced, without any pressure from the field, the council head said something extraordinary. Please, and I say this freely, please accept our genuine respect and help us build a better galaxy together. The field's readings dropped dramatically. Real understanding was replacing artificial politeness. It wasn't a perfect cure, but it was a start. Motion accepted, Hansol said. The future would be interesting. A galaxy where humans and aliens work together, bound not by force, but by genuine mutual respect. And it all started because someone tried to make humans say please. 1 year after the politeness incident, Jisoo stood before the new Joint Human-Alien Research Council. The room was very different from the old Galactic Council chamber. Humans and aliens sat together as equals, without raised platforms or special seats. The final update to the Galactic Database is complete, she announced. Human psychology is now officially classified as a Class-1 survival risk, with a special note about politeness enforcement. On the big screen behind her, the new entry appeared. Warning. Attempting to force or control human behavior, especially regarding social customs like politeness, is classified as extremely dangerous. See the politeness war for historical example. The Alien Council members nodded in agreement. None of them had to be forced to respect this warning. They had learned that lesson the hard way. Please share the recovery statistics, one alien asked, then smiled. And I say please because I want to, not because I have to. Jisoo brought up the numbers. The forced politeness effect has dropped by 85% across the galaxy. Where aliens have learned to genuinely respect humans, the compulsion has almost disappeared completely. In the back of the room, Du has sat quietly. After his trial, he had been sentenced to work with human psychologists to study why his experiment had gone so wrong. It was a punishment that turned out to be a gift. He now understood humans better than almost any alien in the galaxy. There's more good news, Jisoo continued. The new First Contact Protocol has been successfully tested on 15 newly discovered civilizations. No more forcing anyone to be polite, just genuine respect and clear communication. Captain Sunmai, now Admiral Sunmai, stood up next. The Earth Defense Force and Alien Peace Fleet have completed their first joint training mission. Turns out we work better together when nobody's trying to control anyone else. Minna, who had been promoted to Chief of Galactic Communications, brought up another report. The galactic economy has fully recovered. Trading posts are using the new mutual respect systems. No more asking permission for every little thing. And the scientific benefits have been extraordinary, Tae-young added from his new position as head of human-alien research. Combining human creativity with alien technology has led to amazing breakthroughs, all because we finally started working as equals. Han Sol, now Earth's senior ambassador, looked around the room with satisfaction. 1 year ago, this room was full of tension and fear. Now look at us, humans and aliens working together, learning from each other. And all it took was someone being stupid enough to try to force humans to be polite. Yujin finished with a laugh. She had kept her position as Earth's representative, but now she led a team of both humans and aliens. In the station's archives, behind heavy security, the original politeness field research was stored with a simple warning label. Never try this again. Seriously, we mean it. The meeting ended with humans and aliens chatting together naturally. Some said please, some didn't, but all of them meant what they said. As Jisoo packed up her files, Duha approached her desk. I want to say something, he said carefully, and I want you to know I'm saying it by choice. Jisoo looked up. Go ahead. Please forgive me for my arrogance, he said. And thank you, all of you, for teaching me what real respect means. Jisoo smiled. That's the thing about humans, Duha. We're always happy to teach, as long as nobody tries to force us. As they walked out, the station's AI made its standard announcement, but with a new ending. Thank you for visiting Science Station Alpha 7. Politeness is appreciated but never required. Have a nice day, if you want to. Through the windows, Earth shone blue and peaceful. Around it, ships from 100 alien worlds moved in harmony with human vessels. The galaxy had learned its lesson. In the great archive of galactic history, a new chapter was being written. And at the top, in both human and alien languages, was a simple title: The Politness War. How humanity taught the galaxy to say please and mean it.